With the kids, we always push, do the work, reap the reward. And somebody else might hunt it, and I guarantee you that he'll have as much pride if somebody else takes a deer here as if he does, so. You're headed to Magnus's super secret spot he set up himself this year. How do you feel about that, Gus?
At least somebody's hunting there this year.
What you'll do for a pal, hey?
The first one I was gonna shoot, and then these two giant ones came in. And I drilled them.
As seen on a previous episode this year, our son Magnus had put a lot of time into his deer season, helping us set up, and even scouting and setting up his very own spot. Magnus wanted to pick his own spot. This is as good as any. We had a couple tips along the way, but there's a nice bowl here. You can see the bowl right in here, and it's right full of trails and horn rubs. Magnus had done some groundwork and chose his spot, put out some monster meal and put up a stealth cam, and after returning to check the trail camera, we had learned there were several bucks in the area. Quite an assorted bag of deer, including one ancient blade antlered buck that we knew from down the road, and a couple of other nice 4x4s that were new to us. And with that information in hand, it was time for Gus to go get his spot ready. We came up today, Magnus is getting his spot set up. We didn't know where we were gonna set up. We had to look at this bull when he came and set up his stealth cam. After watching the stealth cam for several weeks now, this definitely is the spot. There were several bucks here. It's actually a really good spot for good buck traffic. And there's been new bucks showing up almost every week, which this time of year is a good sign. Well, I'm just heading up to grab the stealth cam off the fence line and bring it down. Magnus is putting a T-post in for it. We need a T-post down here just because the trees aren't close enough to where we want to put some monster meal in, but with the kids, we always push, do the work, reap the reward. Hopefully reap the reward, at least have the chance to reap the reward. There's lots we don't film. He's been coming down here, well, a couple nights a week. He sits up on the fence there. It's probably 3/4 of a mile away with the binos and watches, and there's a lot of stuff like that that we don't film because we try to make sure that the filming doesn't impede their growth as a deer hunter or their enjoyment of deer hunting, and it can be a bit much if you're a young fella, so he knows what bucks are here. Magnus may tag out somewhere else, another deer might show up here, and somebody else might hunt it, and I guarantee you that he'll have as much pride if somebody else takes a deer here as if he does, so. Impressed with his independence, wanting to get his own stands ready, I hope the day never comes that the kids don't want just a little bit of help from Dad. And days later, when returning to check the stealth cam, all of the summer bucks were still moving through. From a couple of 5x5s to the old bladed buck, there seemed to be options at this spot, and with the season now here, it was ready to hunt. Day one of Magnus's hunt, conditions were wrong to head into his spot, so we went to a different stand where he was successful, taking a gorgeous extra wide buck. And as happy as he was, this left his stand empty, though Magnus had another first-time deer hunter that he thought might want to give it a try. Already tagged out and Magnus's spot sitting empty, we discussed it, cleared it with the landowner, and invited Magnus's friend, young Parker McFarland, to come hunt. No stranger to the outdoors, young Parker's had a lot of experiences in the woods with his dad, and had also been out with me and Gus since they were just little guys, helping set up stands and check trail cameras, maybe scaring more than we found, but in the woods nonetheless. And just this spring, the boys had ran their own bear baits. It's just two pals making memories.
So Cody, you said you'd take me mule deer hunting, but no, that's not gonna happen. I'll go whitetail hunting with Dean instead and shoot a real deer.
Well, Parker knew just what to say to get in good with us here, and with whitetail season upon us, we had just a few last things to get ready for his hunt. Well, it's an extremely windy day, but we just stepped out here. Parker's gonna come hunt as soon as we get the right conditions. It's just about October, so the bucks have been putting out lots of these little ground scrapes, so we're a long ways from the rut yet. One thing we kind of like to do is come in and we mess with them a little bit by putting out different scents. These bucks, they're still in their summer or their early season pattern, so they know all the bucks and the other deer in the area. So when you go in and you introduce a new deer, sometimes it gets them pretty excited. We've got monster meal out there, which is doing the trick. What we like to do away from the stand is sometimes add scent to different scrapes, make a couple mock scrapes, and they start to think that there's another deer that's moved into the area, just trying to motivate him to be on his feet in the daylight more often, and it's worked pretty well in the past. The stage was set, conditions were right, and it was time for Parker to hunt. As always, the last few equipment checks and a couple of shots from his Excalibur crossbow to make sure everything was ready showed us that Parker was an excellent shot, and we were indeed going hunting for his very first deer. No matter what anyone says, these are the memories that young boys will remember as old men. Pretty good shooting, hey?
Yeah.
You're headed to Magnus's super secret spot he set up himself this year. How do you feel about that, Gus?
At least somebody's hunting there this year.
What you'll do for a pal, hey? A quick spray down and one last fist bump from a buddy, and Parker and I were headed in. These moments are ones I savor the most, the ones I love. Better than a front row seat, I get to be there and document a young fellow's first walk into a deer stand and his first hunt. No matter how many 200-inch deer we get to hunt or take, nothing tops these days in the deer woods. Parker's very first deer hunt. Him and Magnus hunted bears this spring. Shot a monster bear, but this is his first deer hunt. He's 12 years old. Mag got this spot already this summer. It was his little project. He went to another stand and he got a wide buck, so he figured pal Parker should come see if he gets a buck here. So what are we gonna shoot?
A big deer.
A big deer. The first rule of every young guy's first deer hunt out here is that there's no rules. And it doesn't matter to us what they shoot. The first deer that comes in that you get excited, and if you want to shoot it, then that's when we shoot. If you don't want to shoot it, then we don't shoot it. Sound like a good plan?
Yep.
So this spot, it's pretty much as easy as it gets. It's all agriculture out here, and the deer are moving through here like crazy, and they move down through here. So we've had our stealth cam and Smosh Mill up there for weeks and weeks watching those bucks. But it's just a really cool spot. Away we go. A slow start to Parker's hunt. We were a couple of hours in already and had not seen a deer, though how the young guys stay occupied while it's slow certainly has changed since my day. When we were his age, all we had to do to keep us busy was try to count how many trees we could see, and then lose track, and then start over again. It's wild. Some snacks. Nothing. What is with you kids? Magnus never brings snacks either. These kids today, no gummy bears, no cookies. I think we need a cameraman strike. A slow start to the evening, or as Parker had explained to me, just the calm before the storm. We finally had our first deer of the day, this pretty double throat patch doe. A slow start, but Parker and I finally had deer out front and moving. While enjoying the does, I looked up. And there was Parker's first buck seen from the stand. And as I've learnt with first-time deer hunters in the past, I kept a close eye on Parker, as everyone says they're waiting for a big one, until they're not. And the kids here are allowed to shoot any buck that they get excited about. And even when there were two of them, Parker stayed calm, though I could see he was thinking about it. After a slow evening, now that the deer were moving through, the pace was about to pick up fast. I noticed the deer paying attention to our left, looked over. And there was the old bladed buck making his way right for us. With one of the nice 4x4s from the stealth cam just behind him. Everything was going perfect, but old bucks are smart, and we were a long way from a shot just yet. And as I was watching the old buck, I could notice that Parker was starting to shake watching the 4x4. I looked at Parker and whispered a question, the first one that gives us a chance, and he quickly nodded yes. And with just a stick in the way, the first one looked to be the old buck, in just one more step. He took that step, and Parker settled in. But it was taken away just as quick, with the 4x4 stepping behind him, making it an unethical shot in case of a pass-through. But Parker was ready. Old bucks are old for a reason, and he heard the click of that safety. And without a shot or a second chance, the bladed buck turns and is back behind the sticks, walking off. Disappointing, but they say when one door closes, another opens. And as the bladed buck steps away, the 4x4 Parker liked better steps in. Seen no deer for the longest time, and then you had too many bucks. And that first buck that's got the one horn and the one great big blade, that deer's ancient. I was like, that's the perfect deer for you to shoot. But he kind of gave us a slip, eh? And then the other one walked in, the bigger 4x4, and it looked like he drilled him to me. We're just being quiet because we didn't see where he went. I seen him run, and then he stopped, and then when I looked back, I couldn't see him, so we'll give it a little bit here, see if the arrow's out there, and go from there, hey?
Yeah.
Anyway, that's awesome, bud. Parker's dad picked us up, and when we got out, I snuck out and picked up the arrow, hey? It's got blood on it, but it also had a bit of a smell to it, so that deer might have been quartering towards more than we thought, but we looked at the footage probably 37 or 38 times. And the shot, I mean, it looks good, and it's a devastating hole through him. But the way that he stopped and waited there, we're just gonna leave him till morning. It's almost October, it's nice and cool at night, so there's no issues there. Well, we left him until this morning, and I'm not sure if we needed to. We came this morning to have a look, and he didn't go too terribly far. I don't know if we had to leave him or not, it depends. But we sure didn't want to push him, and either way it's the right decision, but neither one of the young lads have seen him yet. I just walked over the ridge and I could see a white belly, so I grabbed him right away, and we'll go have a look. Did you see him? Are you sure? Not too terrible for a first buck, hey buddy?
Nope.
Holy smokes. That's quite a buck for your first deer, hey?
Yeah.
You had a few options?
Yeah.
And that was the one you wanted to shoot anyway, hey?
Yeah.
Pretty beauty buck, and Magnus, he spent a lot of time there this summer. He scouted that spot and set it up, hey?
Yeah.
A little bit of help, and he shot his deer on the first day at a different stand because he couldn't get in there, and he figured better let his pal hunt there, and you got your first deer.
These two does came in, and then after these two bucks came in, and then the buck started to go away, and then these two giant ones came in. And then the first one I was gonna shoot, but then there was a thing in the blind where I couldn't shoot him, and then he ran away, and then I was like, okay, changed my mind, going to the next one. So the next one comes, and I drilled him. You sure did, yeah. You and Magnus spend quite a bit of time up at camp whenever you can get out of school, hey? Yeah. Helping me and your dad with the outfitting camps. Shot a great big bear this spring. You're on a roll this year, hey? Yeah. Your first deer is by far the best, hey? Yeah. Way better than bear hunting. Yeah. I thought so. All right, well, congratulations again, bud. We'll get him out of here. Yeah, thank you. You bet you, Ben. Probably the best part of this hunt for me is Parker excitedly telling everybody, even his dad, how much more fun whitetail hunting is than anything else. I couldn't agree more, bud. But just watching him and Magnus in the woods is special in itself. You never know what these experiences at a young age will lead to. Hopefully a lifetime of friendship and a lifetime of deer hunting. Congratulations, Parker, on one fantastic buck. And thank you for watching this week's episode of Canadian Whitetail.
To book your own dream hunt in northern Saskatchewan, contact us at Canadian Whitetail Outfitters. Stay up to date with Dean and the team by following us on Instagram, liking us on Facebook, and subscribing to our YouTube channel.